Hey everyone, welcome to this week's edition of What's Driving Token Prices. I'm your host, Katie Talati, Director of Research at Arca. If you're joining us for the first time, we'll give you a little backstory here, but I'm responsible for analyzing and identifying digital asset and blockchain opportunities for Arca's hedge funds. As part of our research, my team and I examine token prices and the market events that act as catalysts for price change. So basically what we're going to do here is share some of these events and tell you if we think they impacted the price or not. Before we get started, this commentary is not intended to be investment advice, investment research, or an investment recommendation. Please consult your investment professional for your own circumstances. All right, first up this week, we're going to be talking about it again, but FTX and FTT token. I think I gave you guys kind of the rundown on what was happening last week. So we have a continuation of the story in the last 7 days. So it's been an action-packed week since we last chatted. In case you missed it, FTX suffered a bank run beginning Sunday, November 6th, and continuing until withdrawals were halted on the morning of November 8th. Following this, CZ, the founder of Binance, and SBF, the founder of FTX, announced that Binance was exploring an acquisition of FTX. Since last week's episode, that acquisition deal officially fell apart after Binance began the due diligence process. Instead, Tron founder Justin Sun stepped in to see if he, along with Huobi, which is another centralized exchange, which he owns a majority stake in and is a board member of, looked to find a way forward for FTX. Unfortunately, nothing transpired. On Thursday last week, FTX officially filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. In the meantime, ftxus, which had gone mostly unscathed, suffered a hack on Friday as funds were siphoned from the exchange. Many believe it was an internal theft. So with the bankruptcy proceedings beginning, SBF has officially been fired from FTX. Alvarez and Marcel, the firm installed to lead the proceedings, have hired John J. Ray III, who was previously the chairman appointed to unwind Enron. So quite a bit happening, but I guess the too long didn't read is that FTX is no longer operational. They're in the hole for about $8 or $10 billion. It's not totally clear, and bankruptcy proceedings are beginning, and it includes 100. It includes FTX and 100 affiliated entities. So this is going to impact a lot of people, not just the customers of FTX, but also other people in the space. We do believe for sure that this is going to continue to have ramifications as time goes on, and we're already seeing some of that. The headlines today were that Genesis, the Genesis OTC group, part of DCG, Digital Currency Group, is having to halt withdrawals from its loan book. We've also seen, potentially that BlockFi, which was acquired by FTX, may have to also declare bankruptcy. Everyone's definitely been waiting for more shoes to drop. We'll keep you posted as that happens. With all this, FTX token is down 50%. It's trading at $1.57 at the time of this broadcast. All right, next up, we've got Serum. So Serum is a Solana-based liquidity project. Basically, you can think of them as like a 0x, but on Solana, they allow for a underlying DeFi infrastructure, is what I would call it. So they actually voted this weekend to fork their token to wrestle control of its code base away from FTX. So since FTX was the original creator of Serum, they had the private keys that allowed changes to Serum's code base versus the Serum DAO. Serum community also suspects that Serum might have been compromised during the FTX hack on Friday. Basically, they think the hacker may have made off with the private keys that allowed for these code base upgrades. So to date, most projects within the Solana ecosystem have moved over to the new Serum fork, which has been fairly successful. With all this, Serum is down 13% on the week. All right, Adam. Actually unrelated to FTX and FTT, thankfully. So Layer 1 protocol Cosmos saw an important vote for Atom 2.0, defeated last week. So the 2.0 vote basically had a bunch of proposals to change the token issuance schedule for Atom and add new features to the token that would make it more valuable longer term. So I don't want to get into too many details of it. It's because it's a little complex, but basically they were going to increase the issuance schedule initially and then taper it down quite heavily over the next few years. Right now, Atom is an inflationary staking token, and so I believe the APR, depending on how much is staked, can be anywhere from like 5 to 20%. And so you see that, you basically have that much inflation on the token per year. So this new system would essentially get rid of inflation and cap Atom issuance at a point in the next 3 years. So like I said, this vote unfortunately was defeated by specifically Jay Kwan. He's the founder of Atom, and he led the opposition in the latest vote and garnered enough delegates right as the vote was closing to defeat it. Many see this as a blow to Atom's long-term value accrual, since this was definitely one way that the project was going to have more usage and more need for its token. Despite this, Atom was only down 2.3% for the week. All right, so last we have Trader Joe. So Trader Joe is an Avalanche-based decentralized exchange. They announced on Monday that its NFT marketplace spinoff called Joe Pegs, I appreciate this marketing piece here, raised $5 million in a seed round. The round was led by Avalanche and FTX Ventures, which was probably one of the last checks they wrote. So that was, kind of like the interesting thing that caught a lot of headlines. So the Joe Pegs exchange launched in May, and it's seen over 12,000 users to date and $3.4 million in volume. Overall, the NFT marketplaces as a whole has been in a contraction phase. Even last week, we saw massive spikes in volumes as things were unwinding, prices were going down, and NFT volumes actually went down, which isn't a great sign, unfortunately. So maybe this is a bet on the resurgence of NFTs in the medium to long term, and potentially a good venue for trading NFTs on Avalanche. With this news, Joe, the token, was up 6.2% this week. All right, everyone, that's all I got for you this week. Thanks for joining. I hope you enjoyed our insights. Tune in here again next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific to hear what's driving token prices.